Hello everyone. Well, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Cat Bun system again, and the focus of this video will be the Cat Buns special skills, which Cat Buns give you a special skill that allow you to benefit from that skill if you have them equipped in the main slot and not at the support slots. So the special skills only take effect in the main slot of the Cat Buns team here, and the supports don't have their special skill triggered. Now, there's only a few Cat Buns in the game, but on the road to getting URs and chasing your best in slot, there are going to be times where you may want to understand what Cat Bun should I run in the meantime, and also to understand how do the UR Cat Buns rank amongst each other, and are there any other secret hidden weapons? The answer to that is yes, which we will go over, especially for tanks. There is in fact an SSR Cat Bun that I might recommend running over the URs for a tank. So we'll cover that when we get there. Without further ado, let us jump right in and take a look at the Cat Buns. We're going to be ranking them in a tier list format just because it's easy to understand and appreciate how they compare against each other. So here we have our Cat Bun tier list. We're going to be taking a look first off, starting with the pink cheese bun. So as always with my past tier list, we're going to look at the tier list, then jump back into game, and then look at what that Cat Bun offers. So first off, we have the pink cheese bun. Let's take a look. So pink cheese bun is got the kitty coin. Now there are some Cat Buns that have a SSR version and an UR version, but these skills actually change, and so you can't reliably rank them based on each other because although they are somewhat similar, the skills are different enough that you have to consider them separately. So the SSR version of the kitty coin pink cheese bun, it triggers every 10 seconds, and there's a 50% chance to increase your accuracy rate by 2.5% in the next 10 seconds, and a 50% chance to double the stats increase, which would be a 5% accuracy rate. Now, as far as Cat Buns goes, this is one of the weaker ones, unfortunately, because the accuracy gain is not reliable. It's only a 50% chance to increase accuracy, and then an additional 50% chance to double that. By itself, it's not that exciting. It's not something that I would recommend running over the other SSR options, so this one would go firmly into the C tier. So even if you have not many SSRs available, this would not be one that you run above the others. So next up, let's take a look at the Waffle Cheese Bun Cat Bun and see what skill this one offers. So here we have the Waffle Cheese Bun, which has the special skill Mark. Mark is if you keep dealing damage to the current target over 60 seconds, you increase your attack in this battle by 6%, and it's not stackable. So this is a relatively interesting skill, basically definitely a boss focused skill. I would say the modes where this would be most beneficial at the moment would be, of course, any of the trial bosses that don't have multiple target swaps, or the dragon and the slime whenever the slime comes back. So it is a very small attack increase, 6%, but it does last for the whole battle after you've dealt damage for 60 seconds to the current target. So I would rank this as okay. There are much better SSRs still, but we'll give this the benefit of the doubt and put it, I would say, let's put it in the bottom of B tier. So whenever we put others in B tier, it would go above this one, but it is not that bad. So next up we have the green tea cheese bun. Now let's take a look at that one in game. Green tea cheese bun, which has the ability Feline Hunter. For every 6 enemies your party eliminates, increase your attack by 6% in the next 25 seconds, and this is not stackable. Now right away we can tell that there's pretty much one game mode that's going to jump into mind for where this might be useful, and that is going to be Waves of Horror, because that is one of the few game modes where you might want to have additional damage when it comes to large groups of enemies. So definitely this is something you could run if you only have SSRs and don't have UR Cat Buns yet. You could run this in Waves of Horror, and you would get the 6% damage attack increase, which is quite nice to have. Even though it's not stackable, you'd basically have the flat 6% increase. So with that in mind, I think this deserves a spot firmly in B tier, because you will at least have a use for this in Waves of Horror compared to some of the other SSRs. So next up we have the Kuka Cheese Bun. Let's take a look at that one. So, the Kuka Cheese Bun has the special skill We Unite, which triggers every 10 seconds, increasing your attack in this battle by 1.5%, and it is stackable. The max triggers is the number of party members. So again, this is a relatively interesting skill. Every 10 seconds it triggers and increases your attack by 1.5% and stacks. So if you have 6 party members in Dragon, for example, then this will stack up to 6 times, which is a 9% attack increase. So as far as attack increases go, this is the highest we've seen so far, at least if you're fighting in the Dragon. If you're in a normal dungeon, this would stack up to 6%, which is in line with the others that we've seen until now. But it is still relatively useful, so we can keep this. I would say this one deserves to be, because of its relatively useful skill, I would put this in the top of B tier. Right here. Very nice. So, now things get pretty interesting. Next up we have the Layered Cheese Bun. Now let's take a look at this one's special skill. Layered Cheese Bun, which gives the Broken Meow Clock special skill. Once per battle, when taking lethal damage, or when one damage exceeds 50% of your max HP, gain a shield equal to 100% of your max HP for 2.5 seconds. Now, this is a very, very good Cat Bun special skill for tanks. Once again, we have a system where, unfortunately, if you're playing as a sword bearer and you're wondering what the best defensive Cat Buns are, there's nothing really in UR that jumps out as like anything that will give you a defensive advantage. It will give you an offensive advantage and allow you to deal more damage, but there's nothing in the URs that's going to let you actually take less damage. And here you have something which basically is in line with, for example, the Turning Point talent, except it additionally not only will trigger when you take lethal damage, if you take a single damage hit that exceeds 50% of your max HP. So let's say, for example, you're in a trial fight and you miss your shield. Let's say you use your shield on an ability, and then another big ability comes which you don't have shield for. If you could take a hit that doesn't fully kill you, then you're going to proc the damage exceeds 50% of your max HP, which is giving you this bonus shield here, which gives your healer enough time to heal you back up. Which is very useful, because the thing what we've discovered in the game is that, unfortunately, when you have multiple sources that trigger on lethal damage, they don't trigger independently. So let's say, for example, you have Turning Point active, let's say you have Reappear active, and let's say you have Broken Meow Clock active. If you take lethal damage, all 3 of them will trigger together. So you can't, because this offers an additional trigger point of once damage exceeds 50% of max HP in one hit, this is quite nice to have. This is like another emergency oh no button. Not button, sorry, an auto trigger oh no ability, which is quite useful for tanks. I would say the benefit of this for a tank exceeds the stats from running a UR. I would actually suggest, and people might disagree with me, but if you're running a tank, I would suggest running Broken Meow Clock before you would run a UR Cat Bun for the stats, because I think this is an excellent ability. So if you're a tank, this is a very, very excellent ability. And I was thinking, I was like, do I really put this, like, where do I put this in A tier, and S tier, A tier, S tier? And I think just because it's not UR, I think just it would feel bad putting it in S tier, because there are a couple S tier UR Cat Buns that do deserve S tier on their own, but I would put this firmly at the top of A tier, but it is also a contender for bottom of S tier because of how good it is for tanks. So just keep that in mind when I talk about this being high on the tier list. It is specifically for tanks, not for DPS. So that's a very, very good Cat Bun. So the next up is the SSR Dark Choco Cheese Bun. So let's take a look at this one. The Dark Choco Cheese Bun has the Honey Special Drink special skill. Let's take a look at what this does. When your HP first falls below 75%, 50%, 25% in non-main story battles, restore HP equal to 5% of max HP. Each damage point can only trigger once, up to 3 restorations. Unfortunately, this is just not that great, because at the end of the day, the 5% HP regained, even for a tank, is not that much compared to having your healer just heal you normally. Even with the healer's passive skills, they'll be able to heal a lot more than this. Plus, with the existence of the layered cheese bun, there's almost no situation where you as a tank would run honey special drink when this broken meow clock exists. So sadly, this is going to be another contender for being firmly in the C tier. Just very limited usage, and with the much better layered cheese bun existing, you just would never run this as a tank. So now we've gotten through all the SSRs, we're going to start talking about the URs. Now, like I said, there are some UR versions of some of the SSRs we already covered, but their skills are in fact somewhat different and offer additional benefits. So let's go over those now, starting with the SP Waffle Cheese Cat. So the SP Waffle Cheese Cat has the SP Our Alliance, which is similar to one of the SSR skills we've covered, but let's see what the UR version covers. Now, the SP Our Alliance triggers every 10 seconds, increasing your attack in this battle by 3% and is stackable. And you additionally increase your master by 2% when you have more than 3 stacks. And the maximum trigger count is the number of party members. So let's see. Every 10 seconds you gain 3% attack, which stacks up to the number of party members you have. So if you have 6 party members, it says 18% attack plus an additional 2% mastery. So definitely much higher numbers than we were talking about in the SSR Cat Buns. Now, this is not the best UR Cat Bun. One thing I do want to show you, by the way, when we're talking about UR Cat Buns, if you didn't know, is you have this evaluate section here when it comes to UR Cat Buns. So when you have this evaluate here, you can actually feed additional duplicates of the same cat bun to get additional stats, but also to have additional effects from the skill. So here you can see, for example, one of them gets an increase in attack by 4% and an additional defense ignore here. So that is something that you have to keep in mind with UR Cat Buns when you're ranking them, is that you do get this additional bonus by feeding duplicates into them that you don't get in SSRs. The evaluate only exists for the UR Cat Buns. So with that in mind, with the additional gains you get here from duplicates as well, this is definitely much better than all the SSRs that we've had so far. So this is going to be, I would say, because it's not the best UR, we'll put it firmly in the A rank. Now notice I will put this below the layered cheese bun because the tanking layered cheese bun is just so good that I would rank it above even the UR Waffle Cheese Cat for a tank. So it is a very good SSR. So next up we have the SP Green Tea Cheese Cat. Let's take a look at this one. The SP Green Tea Cheese Cat has the ability SP Feline Hunter. Again, we had an SSR skill similar to this one. For every 4 enemies by the party has eliminated, increase your attack by 3% in the next 25 seconds with a max of 6 stacks. And your attack is increased by an additional 4% when attacking bosses. So this is 100% a Waves of Horror Cat Bun. Now, there is probably a better UR Cat Bun, which we will get to for DPS, but this is very clearly designed for Waves of Horror, and you would have no trouble running this, and you'd actually get a nice damage bonus from this. So SP Feline Hunter, definitely a Waves of Horror focused Cat Bun ability, because every 4 enemies you defeat, you'll get this additional 3% attack, stacking 6 times, 18% attack, and when you get to the boss waves, you'll get an extra 4% attack on the 8th, 16th, and 24th wave. So actually quite a nice ability for Waves of Horror, but because it is really only useful in one game mode and not in the others, I would not rank as highly as some of the others, but we will definitely put this in the A tier. I would say I would rank this probably just below the Waffle Cheese Cat. So next up we have the SP Waffle Cheese Cat, and let's take a look at what skill this one has. So the Waffle Cheese Cat has the SP Long Lasting Mark. Increase your attack by 15%, and then dealing damage over time to the current target for over 60 seconds grants an additional 3% bonus to attack, maximum of 4 stacks, and ignores 4% defense when exceeding 2 stacks, resets on target swap. So this is definitely a very good Cat Bun for healers. Why is that? Because all of this additional text here is somewhat irrelevant, because you just have this here. You get this increased attack by 15%, which is great because like we know for healers, increasing your attack increases your healing. So this is just a 15% increase to your attack and an increase to your healing, and the rest is nice, but you don't even have to worry about it, whether you're going to deal damage over time to the current target or 60 seconds or the ignore defense. It's all somewhat irrelevant because this is the best in slot. This is the best in slot special skill for healers. So if you're a healer, run your SP long lasting mark, you will get a nice boost to your healing from the attack 15% increase, which is non-conditional. So there you have it. We finally have what I would call the best in slot for healers. We have the best in slot for tank, which was the layered cheese bun, and this is now the best in slot for healers, which is going to put it firmly in the S tier. In thinking about it, I think if we, you know what, I'm going to move this layered cheese bun to S tier because I realize it is also best in slots for tanks, so I would keep it alongside the other best in slots. So that's, I think, making more sense to me. We'll put this up here because of the fact that it can also be used by tanks as their best in slot, so we'll put it alongside the other best in slot cat buns. So last but not least, we have the SP Pink Cheese Cat. And let's take a look at what this entails. SP Pink Cheese Cat gives the ability SP Kitty Coin, which triggers every 10 seconds, and there's a 50% chance to increase your accuracy and all damage. So your accuracy by 2.5% and all damage by 5% in the next 10 seconds, and a 50% chance to double the stats increase. Now, why is this so good? Because let me tell you, if I haven't said anything about DPS best in slot, you should assume automatically it is this one, and you would be correct. This is the best in slot for DPS by far. The reason is, if you remember, I went over the UR evaluate system where you can feed dupes to level up this special skill. When you power this up, this 50% turns into 100%, and it is a 100% chance to trigger and a 100% chance to double the stats, which means that you're effectively getting a 5% accuracy increase and a 10% damage increase all the time. Which means if you have this equipped with a permanent 5% accuracy increase, it means you can actually adjust the accuracy you need from your gear normally, because you'd factor in this additional 5%, which is, as we've learned in my recent video about the numerical stat caps and calculations, this is a 5% accuracy rate as opposed to having a numerical accuracy that gets converted into a percentage at a rate that is subject to diminishing returns as you level up. So this is a very, very, very good cat bun. The best for DPS because you get this huge damage increase of 10% and the 5% accuracy increase, which allows you to spec out of accuracy somewhat, because it will be a 100% chance and 100% chance through as you level up this cat bun. So there you have it. Very, very amazing DPS cat bun here, and is going to be the top of S tier as the best DPS cat bun in the game. So there you have it. That is all of the cat buns ranked by their special skills. And if you're struggling to get your URs and you're sitting and looking at your SSRs and wondering which one you'll actually equip along the way to getting your best in slot, now you have a better understanding. You have the best in slot for DPS, the Pink Cheese Cat, the best in slot for healers, the SP Waffle Cheese Cat, and the best in slot for tanked, the SSR Layered Cheese Bun. So there it is. Hope you found this helpful. And yeah, if you have any further questions, just leave it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And of course, hit that notification bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. And join the Discord as well. The link is in the description down below. I look forward to seeing you all there. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.